Hello and welcome to TianquiztliCreations presents Scary Stories to Keep You Up at Night. My name is Elle, and I'll be your narrator for this 20-part miniseries. Now, Scary Stories to Keep You Up at Night was originally a book that was written by me and illustrated by my husband, Eleana Estrada. This was about 2 years ago. We had a lot of fun creating this book, and so now it will be available in a digital form. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Settling into a new place, those first days or even weeks can make you a bit uneasy. My move a few years ago was no different. I decided on a 3-story apartment building. The plan was to move into the apartment on the 3rd floor, but at the last minute, the landlord informed me the space was not going to be ready in time. Initially, I was annoyed until the landlord discounted the first month of rent for the inconvenience. I ended up taking a vacant space on the 2nd floor instead. On the second night sleeping in the new apartment, I started to hear footsteps and small bangs here and there coming from the upstairs neighbor. For the most part, I slept through it. But as the week progressed, the sounds grew louder, and so did my unease. It finally became too much one night, and I marched my way up to the 3rd floor and knocked on the door. No one answered. I politely said from the other side, "It's late, and I'm sorry to bother, but could you please keep it down?" Still, no response. The next morning, I called the landlord to ask if he could talk to the tenant. He seemed a bit reluctant, but he eventually agreed, and I thought this would solve the problem. It did not. I mean, it seemed to work for a few nights. Then the walking and the thumping overhead started again. I'd had enough. I was lucky to catch the landlord at the property one day, fixing a light fixture in the hall, and I took the opportunity and cornered him. "I don't want any problems," I said. He got down from his ladder, took a deep breath, and chuckled. "I know." He asked me to take a seat with him near the stairs, and he began to explain what was going on. I was not prepared for any of it. For a few months now, the landlord had been having a hard time renting that 3rd floor apartment, so he was relieved when I chose it as my first option. Just a few weeks before I was to move in, he hired help to clean it up. That's when the tenants that lived on the 2nd floor started to complain of noises that came at all hours of the night, just as I had. It seems whatever lingers up there was not pleased with the intrusion, but the landlord had no way to explain the situation and no way to stop the disturbance. The 2nd floor tenants eventually left, and then I moved in. My mouth dropped in disbelief as he finished his story. This entire time, the apartment upstairs sat vacant, or almost vacant. Eventually, the landlord agreed to switch my lease to a month-to-month basis. As soon as that first month was over, I packed my things and moved out.